Hi, I'm Brady Ambler from the Nursery Golf and Country Club. I work under Braden Rogers. This is my mechanical side for the DFS. This portion will be about reels.
Alright then, changing bed knives. First off, I will show you how to adjust for a new bed knife. Then I will show you how to clean off the bed bar. Then next I will show you how to unscrew the bed knife off of the bed bar. Then I will show you how to install a new bed knife.
Attention warning. Reel maintenance safety for reels. There should be no loose clothing worn that could get stuck in reel while it spins. Wear safety goggles if there are sparks or any potential items that may hit your eyes. Wear dust mask if there is potentially sparks and dust in the air. There should be no jewelry or anything that could potentially get caught in the equipment when working on them. Unplug equipment when touching reels blades if there is a possibility of the reel blades spinning when working on. Hearing protection should be worn when there is loud equipment running or other noises. Footwear with steel toes should be on, considering that there are many possibilities of heavy objects falling on your feet. Anyone with long hair should wear hair protection if it's potentially long enough that it could possibly get caught in reel. Safety is required.
Ricky Green at the nursery. Adjust for new bed knife. Before we loosen the screws off that hold the bed knife on the reel, we're going to want to make sure that the bed knife's not making any contact with the blades of the reels. For loosening the bed knife away from the blades of the reel, there are two bolts at the very back of the reel for you to adjust on each side of the reel that adjusts each side of the bed knife to make it farther away from the blades of the reel. There are a few reasons why I like to do this step first. One reason I like to do this step first is because when you're trying to take the bed knife off, you won't be banging it up against your blades of your reel, wrecking your nice blades. Another big reason too for me doing this step first as well is that when you go to put on your new bed knife, it's going to be a lot thicker than your existing bed knife. So you're going to need a little bit more space to play with when you're trying to put your new bed knife on so that it's flush on your bed bar. That way when you go to try and install your new bed knife onto the reel, it won't be banging up against your blades when you're trying to install it. If you look at the image, you can even see the big difference between the new bed knife and an older bed knife, and how much thicker the newer one is compared to the older one. How to unscrew bed knife. Now we are ready to take the bed knife off. Now when it comes to taking your bed knife off, you're gonna need a hammer and punch. The impact drill isn't quite enough to take the screws out. But that's not a bad thing. That just means your bed knife is solid on your bed bar on your reel, ensuring you that your bed knife isn't wiggling while you're cutting grass with your greens mower, and that none of the screws will fall out when you're mowing. Now I'll use my punch and hammer to take out the screws, hammering out the screws counterclockwise to take them out, of course. But you don't have to completely take them out, just need to loosen them enough so that you can use your impact reel to take them out, of course. Once I have finished loosening all the screws off of the bed knife, I can then use my impact drill to take the screws out. I have a special bit for the impact drill made to fit the screws for the bed knife for taking it out. I will then use the impact drill to take the rest of the screws out of the bed knife. But if you don't have this bit, or just simply misplace this bit, then you can always use a screwdriver to take these screws out. But it has to be a flathead screwdriver, of course. Clean bed bar off. Okay then, now that the bed knife's off, now we'll have to clean off the bed bar before putting the new bed knife on, so we can put the bed knife on the bed bar nice and solid and flush the way we want it to be. For cleaning the bed bar off, I like to use this wire brush attachment for the drill. But if you don't have a wire brush attachment for the drill, you can always use a simple wire brush to clean off the bed bar as well. Now that the bed bar is completely clean, before putting the new bed knife on, you're going to make sure that the bed knife is not making any contact with the blades on the reel. To check this, I will take the bed knife, hold it up against the bed bar, and spin the blades to see if it's making any contact with the bed knife. And if it's not making any contact with the bed knife, I will not have to adjust the bed bar again. But if the bed knife does make contact with the blades of the reel, then you're going to have to loosen those two bolts at the back of the reel that I showed you at the beginning of the video to loosen the bed knife so that it's not making contact with the blades of the reel. Install new bed knife. Before screwing in the new bed knife, you're going to want to put copper coating in all the holes that the screws screw into so that the screws don't rust into the bed bar. That way you won't strip any screws when you try to take off the bed knife for your next new bed knife when you have to replace it. Then when I have finished putting all the copper coating into the screw holes, I will use a scraper to clean off all the extra copper coating and push it all into the holes where the screws screw into, so it'll be nice and clean for us to put our new bed knife on. Then I will just put a few screws in with my hand in the middle of the bed knife into the bed bar to hold it in the middle to get it ready for me to drill in the screws. Now that I have all the screws in with my hands, I will screw in the first screw in the middle of the bed knife and work my way out on each side of the bed knife, all the way across the bed knife. For a better understanding of what order to put the screws into the bed knife on the bed knife bar, here's an animation of the order of screwing the screws connecting the bed knife to the bed bar. Now that I have all the screws screwed into the bed knife onto the bed bar of the reel, you will want to take your hammer and punch and tighten each screw to make sure each screw is secured so that the bed knife will not loosen off. When using your hammer and punch to tighten the screws, you do not need to aggressively hammer until the screws turn. You just need to give the screws a couple of taps to make sure that they're securing the bed knife to the bed bar. Once you have finished using the hammer and punch on each screw, you have successfully installed your bed knife onto your reel. Now that the bed knife is installed, you're going to want to adjust your bed knife so it cuts paper. Ideally, you're going to want your bed knife so it just touches the blades of the reel, running on zero contact. Lesser contact with the bed knife and the reel's blades, the longer your bed knives will last. Once the bed knife just cuts paper, it's successfully adjusted to cut grass. You may want to check the heights. If you don't know how to change the heights or just want a better understanding, I have another video on changing heights.